Right, welcome to the Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint GT Veloce, an absolutely incredible vehicle that you need to consider picking up in Gran Turismo 7. So let's get straight into it. So this is a classic Alfa Romeo, and honestly this for me was peak Alfa. This vehicle, the sound of the engine and just the drivability of it is so fun. Now the thing is, it has one issue, and that's the fact that it is slow compared to modern day vehicles. I mean, it comes standard with a 1.6 liter inline 4-cylinder that produces 104 brake horsepower. Now luckily the one on screen right now is not standard. This is my fully upgraded Alfa, and this vehicle produces 273 brake horsepower and 852 kgs. So what that means when you want to take it around the circuit and actually put it up against some vehicles that the game thinks is competitive, well, you'll find yourself coming up against Nissan R35 GTRs, Mercedes AMG Black Series, as well as some other spicy supercars from both modern times as well as the past. So the Alfa Romeo, even though it has less than 300 horsepower, the fact that it weighs absolutely nothing just means that this vehicle is absolutely insane to drive. It's so fun to just go around corners and absolutely chuck it about. Now with this Alfa, one thing I did notice was the fact that this vehicle had a decent amount of understeer, which was something that I didn't expect. I thought this vehicle was just gonna be chucking through the corners, have the tail end step out, but no, I actually found understeer, so you do have to take that into account when you want to use this vehicle around the circuit. But honestly, the biggest downside and the biggest problem with the Alfa Romeo when it is fully upgraded is the fact that, well, it's just not that fast down a straight line. Having under 300 horsepower, no matter how light you are, okay, let me not say that, but considering even though it is light, we see other vehicles just drive past it. We just see the other cars pull away from it as if the Alfa is going nowhere slowly. So around Kyoto Driving Park, I do find myself sitting lap times around the 1 minute 50 second mark. 1 minute 47 was my fastest. So look, we do find ourselves not sitting the fastest of lap times, but hey, it's still decently quick lap times. It's nothing that I'd say is competitive or something that's going to be groundbreaking or really show you, what speed is. Because the Alfa doesn't really provide that, because once you get onto a straightaway, you see the vehicle start falling away and loses all momentum. If this vehicle was any heavier, it would not be fun to use. Thankfully, it is rather lightweight. But now, with update 1.54 to the game, we see that we can now engine swap the Alfa Romeo Giulia. So, the engine that can go into it is the K24A of the Honda Civic. Now, when it says Civic, it's actually the garage RCR Civic. So, this means that this vehicle, when you take it on over to the tuning shop now, and fully upgrade the engine, we are going to be left with 599 brake horsepower, which is absolutely no joke and a lot more than standard. In fact, it's double the standard power, so this should be quite an exciting ride. And now with the power being doubled, we see that the weight is still only at 921 kgs, so the weight is still very lightweight, and we see that it's just producing a lot more power. Now when it comes to driving the vehicle, I was coming down Kyoto Driving Park doing about 270 kilometers per hour before we need to slam on the brakes to make it around the first corner. Now the thing is, that's also not really that fast, but it is a lot faster compared to what the standard engine fully upgraded could do. Now when it comes to sitting lap times, well, I found myself sitting a fastest lap time of a 1 minute 36 second lap. Now the thing is, this vehicle could be a lot faster if we had the ability to add front aero, because we see that the vehicle has no tunable front downforce and we only have tunable rear downforce, and that could also be the reason why when coming around Kyoto Driving Parks, we find ourselves coming down the hill and the front end lifts up. Now the problem is, when it comes back down and hits the ground, well, the vehicle gets very unstable and you actually find yourself spinning out, so you actually have to let off just before you went over the top of the hill. So that is something you do need to watch out for if you are going to use Marchun. If you want to avoid that, well, you can soften up the front suspension, and well, it'll just avoid that, but at the same time you are going to start understeering a bit more when it comes to cornering. So it's a give or take relationship with that, so you gotta really find out what works best for you. So when it comes to using this vehicle, usability, this is what the Alfa has. Now I took this vehicle around a WTC 700 around Le Mans. Why? Because with this vehicle fully upgraded on racing soft tires, we find ourselves under 700 performance points. Now the only issue is I set an initial lap sub 4 minutes. However, the only problem is with the vehicle being on fuel map level 3, I found myself crossing the line with 48% of fuel remaining, which means if you are gonna run the vehicle on fuel map level 6 and you're gonna need to use fuel saving techniques, well, you are only gonna be able to complete 2 laps before you need to dive into the pits. But the thing is, if you detune a bit more, this vehicle could be compatible with the WTC 600 around Tokyo Expressway, because the vehicle is able to do over 300 kilometers per hour with ease, and well, it's honestly just an easy vehicle to drive. Now, will I say that this is the best engine swap for this vehicle? No. The thing is, I would have much preferred a naturally aspirated engine that revs to the moon and just really symbolizes what the Alfa was like, instead of just being typical and having the same K24 being swapped into it like most of the other cars in the game right now. But honestly, I'm still glad to see that the Alfa Romeo received an engine swap to really be more usable. So if you are looking for a classic Italian vehicle to use that is fun, that is easy to drive, if you have, let's say, a weekly challenge to complete, consider this vehicle. Now the engine swap is 250,000 credits, and you can purchase this vehicle from the used car dealership for 165,200 credits, which, look, it is a bit of money, but considering the fact that after all your upgrades and everything, you're still gonna be under 500,000 credits for a fantastic vehicle that you could potentially money grind and earn that money back. Well, I don't really see it as a lose-lose situation. So with that being said, I want to hear your thoughts on this Alfa Romeo in the comment section, because for me, I see that this vehicle's handling is quite good. The performance of this vehicle with the engine swap it's really good. Like, generally, I enjoyed myself with it, and overall it's just a fun little vehicle that you cannot hate on. So with this being said, let me know your thoughts and opinions of this engine swap in the comment section down below, and with this being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.